As real estate investors, what do you guys think would be the number one thing that you need in order to stay in business?
Yeah. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Final countdown, no time to breathe. Get your mind ready, your rhymes better be on to the teeth. To be defeated by he, the one they call the GOAT, checkmate on the beat.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
For anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Mike Gomes. I am a wholesaler and flipper out of the Canton area. We do deals all around Massachusetts, pretty much anywhere from Worcester to Boston. We cover Rhode Island and we cover Eastern Connecticut. My main gig is wholesale. So we're doing about 5 wholesale deals per month of just direct to seller acquisitions, wholesaling, banging the phones, having conversations with people, locking people up under contract, getting that contract and assigning it over to a cash buyer. That's really our main gig. And then me and my wife on the side, we also flip houses. So out of the 5 deals, maybe we might take down 1 ourselves or 1 every other month. We kind of get to cherry pick the nice juicy deals that we want that are that look appealing to us, and we'll take those down. So that's one cool thing about getting off-market deals. Does anybody not know what wholesaling is? Okay, so everybody gets that. Everybody understands that it's you go out, you talk to a homeowner, you get them under contract, you say, hey, I would sell my property to you for $100,000. They agree to that, and you get that piece of paper, and then you go sell it to a cash buyer for a fee. Everybody gets that? Okay, love it. Well, that's really our main gig. That's what I've been doing for the past 5 to 6 years, full time. It's been great. It has blessed me and my wife. It has provided for us. It has been a vehicle of purpose for us. It's been a vehicle of intimacy for us. It's been great. It's been what has kept us over the past 5 or 6 years, pretty much ever since COVID. I started right when COVID started. And really, it took me about 7 months to get my first deal. And once I got my first deal, it was kind of history from there. Show of hands, how many people are in the process of getting their first deal? Okay, don't be afraid. So, kind of here and there. Let me ask you guys a question. As real estate investors, what do you guys think would be the number one thing that you need in order to stay in business? Anybody? Deals. Deals is literally the only thing. And what's interesting to me is I'll talk to cash buyers all the time for our deals, and we'll just be chopping it up, having a conversation. And the majority of them, when we're talking about the market and how their business is doing and all that, they're like, Mike, I just don't know. I just don't have deals. Like, their deals are scarce. I'm getting a deal maybe every quarter, but I really want a deal every single month. And the problem is deals. It's like it's always a thing. Deals is always the problem. Would you guys agree? Like, it's kind of tough, especially in Massachusetts, to find deals. Would you guys agree? You guys are like, what the heck? I feel like this price point is just too high. I feel like these sellers just are way too educated. I think that these sellers are just straight up mean and jerks, and they yell at me when I'm on the phone with them, and it's the worst. Would you guys agree? Okay, well, that's what I thought too when I was first starting out. When I first started out, I didn't get my first deal, like I said, for 7 months. And here's what happened. Let me circle back a little bit, actually. Before I started wholesaling, I was doing a couple things. I was like the all-American hustler, doing all the different hustles that you can think about. One of the things that I was doing is there was a guy named Rodney in Brockton who had a chiropractic office. And my job was to find him business. What I would do is I'm probably about 22 years old at this point. And my job was to go out and door knock the lawyers in town. Why? Because the main way he got business was from car accidents. So my job was to go around in town to all the car accident lawyers and say, hey, my name is Mike. I work with this guy named Rodney. We do a lot of car accident deals. Would love to do business with you. And guess what happened? Can anybody guess? Nope. I got don't talk to me. You're a dirty person. I'm like, listen, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. But here's the thing. I got out of my shell. And it got me moving. And I didn't even know this at the time, but I started getting into sales. I started getting my foot into the door. I started having uncomfortable conversations. From there, I ended up transitioning from that to being a full-time barber and doing a bunch of other hustles on the side. I won't get into all that. But really what I realized is throughout all these things that I was doing, my main gig was talking to people and influencing them to do something. Maybe it was influencing them to give me a tip as a barber. Maybe it was influencing a lawyer to bring us business in the chiropractic office. In some of my other hustles, I had a junk removal business. Maybe it was influencing somebody to allow me to take away their trash. Like, and I'm just talking to a lot of people and all these things that I'm doing. And it finally got to the point where I'm just like, man, I'm tired of cutting hair. I'm tired of doing this junk removal business. You know, I went to this real estate event like 5 years ago, and it seemed like the coolest thing that I've ever heard of in my life. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting into real estate. Saved up some money. I jumped out of everything that I was doing and went full-time into real estate. Would I recommend anybody doing that? No, because it was hard. Because here's what happened. I didn't get my deal for 7 months. So for the first, I would say 3 months of me doing that, all I'm doing every single day, this is literally what my day-to-day would look like. I would go on YouTube. I would watch Jerry Norton. Anybody know Jerry Norton? Jerry Norton's great. I would watch Jerry Norton videos. Jerry Norton's one of the gurus in the space that teaches real estate, teaches fix and flips, teaches wholesaling. And what I would do is I would listen to what he was teaching on how to go find deals, and then I would just go do it. So Jerry would be teaching, hey, you need to go talk to agents and say this. And then that same day, I would go do that. And then maybe the next day I would go do that, and then I would get nowhere, and I'd be like, all right, Jerry, I need another video. What do you got? Door knocking? Okay, I'm gonna go try this. I'm gonna do it for a couple days. That didn't work. And it was just a repetitive cycle for about 3 months straight. Once those 3 months went by, I'm spent. I'm just like, you know what? This guy, Jerry, has been lying to me. Everybody else on YouTube has been lying to me. I'm sick of it. I kind of want to quit. One night, it was about 2 a.m. in the morning, and something just woke me up. And I go in my bathroom, and I'm just in tears on my bathroom floor. Like, what is happening? Like, I've started all these side hustles. I was doing this barber thing, but nothing just feels right. And I just feel lost. I want to quit. And I got up the next morning, looked myself in the face, and I'm like, nah, we can't quit. We got to do it again. So what did I do? Hop back into Jerry Norton's videos, and I kept on moving. And then here's what happened. I'm like, you know, all these things that Jerry's talking about just isn't working. I need more help. So I reach out to a Facebook group, a local Facebook group, and I'm like, hey, how do I find deals? Like, what's one of the best ways to do it? I found out that you could hire virtual assistants to find you leads. And I'm like, oh, this would be great. So I hired my first virtual assistant, literally on day one. Her name is Karen. I hop into a meeting with her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is great. She's incredible. She already worked with an investor for like 2 years before me. She knows way more than I do. She knows all the systems. She knows the CRMs. She knows the lists. She knows the scripts. She knows more than me. I might as well just have her run all the leads, and I'll handle them. So that's what we did. So we hop in a meeting. Me and Karen, she gets hired. She tells me, Mike, hey, you need this CRM. You need that dialer. You need this. You need that. I'm like, all right, let me go figure it out. So I got it for her. Day 2, she started generating leads. Like that day, she started finding motivated sellers for me to call. So I start getting excited because this is the first time that I actually talked to motivated sellers. And I'm like, I'm finding some traction here. Once I found some traction, I'm like, all right, let me keep on having these conversations. Let me keep on nurturing Karen to make sure she's got everything that she needs. And what do you know? I get nowhere for a good 2 or 3 months. Spent a bunch of money on lists, spent a bunch of money on having Karen do the work, and I'm just spent. And I'm about to say, screw this. I'm all set with real estate. I'm done for good. Like, this really isn't what I want to do. I'm on my last day. I'm being dead serious. Last day that I was about to be in real estate. And I see an ad from Pace Morby. Anybody know who Pace Morby is? Pace Morby, my brother, guy that practically saved my life. Can't say enough about that guy, but I see an ad from him, and I'm like, you know what? This guy seems legit. So I go on YouTube, I research him, try to figure out who he is, sign up for his course, and I'm like, you know what? This is my last shot in the dark. Sign up for it. If it doesn't work in the first month, I'm good. I'm all set on real estate. So I get on a Zoom with Pace. This is before Pace really blew up. It was like right when he first started his mentorship. And he's like, Mike, what's up, bro? I'm like, dude, I need your help so bad. I'm losing money. I'm about to lose my shirt. I'm about to lose my girlfriend, who's currently my wife. And I don't know what to do. I'm screwed. I thought that this was going to be easy. And he's like, all right, bro, chill. Like, it's going to be all right. Tell me, what does your business look like? I'm like, well, I have a virtual assistant. I'm getting this many leads. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. He's like, bro, you should be doing deals. I'm like, what? He's like, no, like the system that you have right now, the current leads that are coming to your system and all the VAs doing, like, you should be doing deals. And I'm like, well, bro, tell me, why am I not? This is why I hired you. And he's like, well, it sounds to me like you don't know how to talk to sellers. You don't know how to convert. And I'm like, what do you mean? I know how to convert. I've been talking to people all the time. I've talked to lawyers. I was door knocking them. I was a full-time barber. Like, I can talk my way out of handcuffs if I wanted to. He's like, no, trust me, you don't know sales. You don't have a sales process. You don't know what to do when a seller slams a door in your face. You don't know what to do when a seller tells you to go screw. You don't know what to do when the seller tries to hang up on you. You don't know what to do. You do not have a sales process. You need to go learn sales. So I'm like, you know what? You're right. I got to go learn sales. So I took the next 6 months of my life and dedicated it to learning sales. My car was a sales university. Here's what I would actually do. I'll record my calls during the day, like physically record them, take my camera out, not just like in a CRM recording, but take my camera out, record them so I could see my facial expressions and all the things. And me and my wife would listen and watch my seller calls at night. Instead of watching TV, that's what we would do. So I just got really, really obsessed with sales. And in the first 3 weeks of me being into Pace's mentorship, I finally got my first deal. And then from there, it's pretty much history. I found it. I found that, like, what I needed was to use this skill that I had. It just hadn't been developed. I was able to talk to people at the barbershop. I was able to talk to people at the chiropractic office. I just didn't know how to develop it. I didn't know that that was the skill that was pushing me into purpose. I didn't know that that was the skill that was pushing me into providing for my family. On top of that, I didn't have the people that were around me that could show me that skill. I didn't have the people that could get that skill out of me, or I didn't have the people that could assist on helping that skill succeed. A skill that helped me out. So you might think that, hey, the answer to the question that I asked earlier, what is the number one thing people need, is deals. You might think the answer to how to find deals or how to always get deals is to just get leads and call them and convert them, meaning market and have a sales process. Yeah, that's great. That's cool. And I'm telling you, that's a great way to get deals. We do it every single month. We get about 5 of them per month just from our VAs and knowing sales. But that's really not what everybody needs. That's just what Mike needed. I just happened to run into the people that found out that that was the skill that was going to really make me succeed in real estate. That's really not what everybody needs in order to succeed. It all depends on your skill and the people that you are surrounded by. And that is what is going to propel you into purpose. So you might be like, well, dude, Mike, that's cool, but I don't even like talking to people. I'm actually an introvert. Like, I don't want anything to do with door knocking. I don't want anything to do with cold calling. I just want to fix and flip. I just want to be the hard money lender. I just want to plug myself into a deal in some sort of way. Well, you can. If you think about it, if you think about what skill that has been planted inside of you that needs to be more nurtured and more developed, and how to get around the right people to develop that skill in you as much as possible, that's what's going to bring the deals. And you just consistently do that time and time and time and time again, and all of a sudden you end up with a skill that is the foundation of your business, because the sales skill is the foundation of our business. We build everything around that. Our sales process, everything else is built around the sales process. Our lead generation is built around the closers closing deals. That is what Mike Michalowicz would call I forget what this book is called, but there's a book that Mike Michalowicz wrote, and he talks about the queen bee role in a business. And the queen bee role in the business is the role in the business that the business would never survive without. And if you guys find the queen bee role that you guys have, that you can create the business around, that is what's going to succeed. Does anybody know David and Goliath? Anybody raise a hand? You guys know that David and Goliath, well, the Goliath story, as far as like Goliath goes to David, that was David's first deal. Once David got that deal, he started walking into purpose. It's the same deal. Not many people really know the story before David and Goliath, or even after. So the story before is David was a shepherd. David was somebody that everybody looked at like the low person. But the thing I like about David is I low-key knew that he was intentional about the entire thing. He was a shepherd shepherding all the sheep. And while he was shepherding all the sheep, what would happen is lions and bears would come attack the sheep, and he would have to attack the lion and sheep back. But David never complained about it. David wasn't like, why am I doing this? Poor me. I am the worst brother of 8, and all my other brothers get to go have fun in war, and my dad is not letting me succeed in all these things. But the coolest part about it to me is David's like, nah, I'm going to sit here and do my job. There's a reason why I'm here. There's a skill set that I'm acquiring right now. And what happens is that skill set that he used while he was a shepherd boy ends up being the skill set that he uses to defeat Goliath. And what happens is all these people that are in his life, Samuel, the guy that tells him that he's about to be the king. His father, the guy that tells him, hey, your brothers need food. His brothers, who are haters. His king at the time, who was his mentor, who ends up being a hater of him. All these people are who he needed. So he needed people in his life that pushed him into purpose. All the types of people. He needed the haters. He needed the mentors. He needed the homies. He needed the brothers. He needed all the types of people to push him into the purpose that he was called to be. And then he defeats Goliath, and then it's history from there. He becomes best friends with Jonathan. He uses Jonathan as a best friend to excel him into purpose. He uses all these people, and the one thing that he got is his skill set. Actually, I'm going to say 2 main skill sets that he had. The 2 main skill sets that he had was, 1, he was a gangster. He was fighting lions and bears. But 2, he just had faith, and that took a skill. That faith took skill. That faith is a skill that was developed over time. And he was able to use that, and it took him 15 years from the time that Samuel anointed him as king to actually become king. So he's going through all these things. He's beating Goliath. He has the battle. He's going through this. His king is trying to kill him. His best friend is trying to help him out. All these things are happening, and time after time, he's just developing skill sets. He's developing more faith. He's developing more wisdom. He's developing more skill sets as being a warrior. He's developing more skill sets as being somebody who can lead an army. So it's like, what is our skill set? What is a skill set that we might be looking at? Like, why am I here? Why am I in this 9-to-5 job? What is this 9-to-5 job doing for me? Back when I was working with Rodney, it was like, why am I here? I'm getting the door slammed in my face every single time that I go to a lawyer's office. It's like, why? Like, why am I here? And then the door opens to the next place. And I get there and I'm like, just, why am I here? I'm going to work hard and I'm going to develop some sort of skill set. I'm going to get something out of it, but it just keeps on progressing and progressing and progressing. And in real estate, what happens is you keep on doing deals after deals after deals after deals. And each deal that you keep on doing pushes you that much farther into purpose and that much farther into who you are called to be.